the Jadis here, and this here right here is the 4th generation iPad, or the iPad 4, whatever you want to call it. Now I'm going to give a full review on this, the full rundown on the specs, what I like and what I don't like. So without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Okay, so to start off, I'm going to give you a rundown of the specs. The iPad 4 features a dual-core 1.4 GHz Apple A6X processor with quad-core graphics and 1 GB of RAM. The screen resolution is 2048 by 1136, which is a Retina display and which gives you a PPI of 264. The body of the iPad is all aluminium and features a 5 megapixel camera on the back. And you can see it right here, I've got some Geekbench scores. They'll just give you the benchmarks of the iPad, and you can see it's got 1786, which is definitely a very reasonable score for the iPad. And with benchmarks aside, you can definitely see that the iPhone definitely has a lot of fluidity to it. It's definitely the most fluid iPad I've seen. It's a bit more fluid than the iPad 3 was, because it's down to that more powerful processor. Taking a look around the device, we can see here on the very top we have a front-facing camera. We have just a home button at the front, and that's really it for the front. Around the bottom, we can see we have the new Lightning connector, which is really becoming the standard for all Apple products now. Just right there. You can see that we have a small monologue speaker grill here, just to get you the sound. Around the right side, we have the mute / rotation lock and the volume button. On the top, we have the power button and the camera here, small microphone, and just the headphone jack, and we have nothing on the right side. The biggest thing, in my opinion, about this device is the display. It is a 2048 by 1536 pixel density display with a 264 PPI, and that's in terms by Apple, the Retina display. And I definitely say it's very good. It's a very good display. It's very sharp. When you look at any kind of text or in video, everything just looks absolutely amazing. It's just incredibly sharp, and almost no pixelation whatsoever. You can see here, looks absolutely crystal clear, very, very nice and very, very good looking. And it's got very good, nice color reproduction. You can see the camera angles, the viewing angles. Just get that. You can see right here the viewing angles are, just really, really great, as you expect it. It's an IPS display as well, so you are going to get those amazing viewing angles that you can find on the iPhone and iPad and the previous iPads, and with the Retina MacBook Pro. And you can see it's absolutely amazing. One thing I would like to say about the display is it is a 4:3 screen aspect ratio, which in my opinion is probably the best aspect ratio for a tablet, because as you can see right here, I'm viewing the web page, and it just looks a lot nicer with having a bit more space to the sideways and having a bit more width to the screen, as opposed to the 16:9 aspect ratio, which tends to be kind of elongated and quite scrunched up. And in my opinion, it just makes it a bit more difficult to see and view things. So to have a 4:3 aspect ratio display, it's really, really nice, because it gives you a really good view of the web page, very, very nice, and very, very evenly spaced. Videos, it does letterbox, but again, the resolution on the screen is higher than 1080p anyway. So if you watch a video, it's still going to play in 1080p format, and you're still going to get the full pixels that you would normally see on any 1080p screen, regardless of the letterboxing. It's also very great for reading. If you could just see here, it's also very great for reading. Because the text just looks so sharp and crystal clear. It's just really, really nice, and a really, really good display to have on. And again, thanks to that 4:3 ratio, it makes it for a nice sort of reading experience as well. When I look around the back of the device, the iPad 4 is made out of brushed aluminium, and you can see that right here. It's got this really nice, soft, smooth feel to it, and it makes it feel really high-end and very nice, high-quality build. As you expect of all Apple products, but this is I mean, it just feels really amazing to the hand, and it's just a really good build quality, and it's definitely a nice experience when you're holding it with two hands. Over to the back, you can see we have the 5 megapixel camera, and I've taken some photos of this. It's capable of taking 1080p video as well, so I'll show you a clip of that as well. But what can I say is what I'm going to say about the camera is that it takes decent photos. I mean, they're not amazing. They're like 13 megapixel camera, or like the 41 Lumia 1020 megapixel camera, but it's definitely reasonable. I mean, you shouldn't. In my opinion, I don't take photos of photos with tablets anyway because it looks a bit weird. But it is there if you want it, and it takes some decent, reasonable photos in good light. And just the last thing about the screen is that the iPad has some quite large bezels around the side of the screen, which actually I find quite nice. They make it for a very nice grip when you're holding it. It's just big enough for both of your thumbs to fit quite easily on to the bezels, which just make it for a very nice experience when you're holding it. You can find it easily navigate through the iPad. It's just really nice and really a nice experience. And I think at first I thought the bezels were quite big, but when I started using them, I realized it's quite nice and it makes for a very nice experience when you're holding it. Obviously, this is not meant for really one-handed use. I mean, you can use it a bit, just just scrolling around, but this is not really an iPad Mini by any sense. It's meant for two hands and only two hands, really. But again, it's a very nice tablet. Obviously, it's really good design, well built. And the iPad is really good for if you want to play really high-end games, because obviously, thanks to that A6X processor, it's got some really good high graphics rendering. It's got some really good, you can play really high-end games with it. It's really nice and very good, pleasant experience. And most of the times I play all my graphic intensive games on this because obviously you have the much larger screen, and it's just a much more joy playing it on the iPad screen. And it's got some very nice, good frame rates. It tends to be very consistent, and with most graphic intensive games. And it's got some really nice effects to it, and you can just see that here. The iPad 4 also doesn't seem to get quite as hot when you play a graphic intensive game. You can see right here the top part is when it tends to get the hottest. And it just doesn't seem to get quite as hot as the iPad 3 used to get. It seems to be a little more cooler. It's still quite lukewarm right now after I finished playing that game, but it's definitely not as hot as it used to be on the iPad 4, on the iPad 3, excuse me. And again, like before, the iPad 4 is running iOS 6, and iOS 7 is going to be released very soon, hopefully. And you can see it's just got the same simplistic design you have in the iPhone. I mean, if you like this sort of thing, I love the iPad. I think it's one of the best tablets on the market right now. But it's got some really good high quality apps in it. As I've said before, it's iOS, so it's got this sort of simplistic design. I mean, if you like it into more Android, where you can really customize everything, you might want to look somewhere else. There are some really good Android tablets out there. One example is the Nexus 10, I'd say. And but again, this is about the iPad 4, and this is a really good tablet. I mean, this is just a very simplistic, easy to use, same old things. I mean, it's just a nice experience to have, and it just makes it a really good experience. And I definitely, in my opinion, probably the best tablet you can have. Again, thanks to that 4:3 ratio, I think that really does it for me. It's just because it just makes it more universalist and makes it more comfortable to use landscape or portrait. The iPad 4 also has a lot more tablet optimized apps than the Android, the Google Play Store, which is a lot which has a lot less tablet optimized apps. You can see right here, it's I'm on Google Maps, which is kind of ironic, but and again, you can see here it's very nicely laid out, very nice. It's a bit jittery here, but I think that's just the app optimization. But again, you can see right here, I'm just searching things up, and it's got this really nice interface. I mean, this thing is something that Android tablets don't have quite as much. I know they're sort of getting towards there, but just having very nice, very good tablet optimized apps is really key, I think, for when you're trying to sell tablets. and it just makes it for a nicer experience when you're using, because to me, having phone apps on a tablet just makes it, again, you're not buying a giant phone. You're buying a tablet, and for a tablet, you need to have a lot of tablet optimized apps, and not just having. And the iPad App Store has a really good variety of apps that are iPad optimized. Of course, that isn't to say that iPad does not have its own problems. Uh, Again, I've mentioned this before. Siri is still incredibly slow as usual. Um, Again, it's not, you can't personalize too much with this. That's one thing that's really key. If you really want to be personal, all you can really do is change the wallpaper, and that's not really much else you can really do unless you jailbreak it. Which of course has its own problems related to that, and I'm not going to go into that. But again, things like that, it's not perfect. One such example is that the lightning connector, the socket for the lightning connector is really small, and it's kind of, if you can see right here, tilted to one side. So when I'm trying to put it in, it's very difficult to get it because it's such a small socket, and to get the small cord into it is just really flimsy, and because especially this is such a massive tablet. One more thing I found to be quite a bit of a nuisance is that the Wi-Fi reception doesn't tend to be as good on my iPhone as it does on the iPad. It seems to get 1 or 2 bar less on the iPhone when I'm in the exact same position as it does on the iPhone. So it's a bit weird. I mean, it just tends to be quite irritating in a way. It's just because I'm sitting in the exact same position and the Wi-Fi reception is worse on this. And I think these both have the same Wi-Fi chipset, so I don't know how this is working, but it just seems to be slightly slower to me. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I enjoyed making it. Please don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, tell me what you think, anything I missed out, and please don't forget to check out my other videos. I do have a lot of great reviews and videos coming up, so please stay in tune for that, and have a great day.